All right, as you can see here, part two. I've started painting this thing black. I've got white primer on it, and I'm starting to get the paint going, the black part. I'll put 2 coats of black on there, and then I will be through with this frame. It's all caulked in the cracks where I showed you last time. Got those things caulked up, and time to paint. Look at it tonight. We got 1 coat of black paint on the end table now. I'm going to put another coat of black paint on it. And before I do that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start staining the boards. Like I said, these are the bottom boards. I'm going to put pre-stain on them first. And this here is the top, again, as I showed you the other night when I made it. I'll put pre-stain on it as well. So I'll do this first and I'll move over to the table. What I like to do is get my bench cookies underneath my tabletop here so that it can hold up off the table so I can get around it really good. Cut up a little rag. This is my Minwax pre-stain conditioner. It helps keep the stain from blotching up and get ready to put it on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this rag over all this area here. It doesn't take a lot, just a little bit to get it soaked in there, and it'll bring out the grain of the wood, and plus it'll keep the stain from blotching. So get that all covered up there. What I do is this stuff takes about 20 minutes to dry good before I start staining. You can see that little spot there the other night when I was telling you about. I filled it in. It's gonna, once it stains, you won't even know there's a little hole there, a little divot or anything. So it just covers pretty good. So I'll go ahead and I'll pre-stain this. I'll pre-stain the small boards for the bottom. And I don't usually pre-stain the bottom of the top itself because there's no reason to, because nobody sees the bottom, because that's basically what the bottom looks like with the pocket holes in there. So I just do the top, I'll do the sides, and then I'll then let it dry a little bit, and I'll flip it upside down on the bench cookies, and I'll start putting the stain on it. But like I said, it takes about 20 minutes for the pre-stain to get dried in there really good. Not too bad. So actually I got the top just sitting there while it was drying with the pre-stain on it. Actually, it's not a bad color design right there with the natural grain wood on the black there. Not too bad. I'll probably build something like that eventually. But now on with the stain. I'm fixing to put my board back here on my portable work table. What I'll do is while that stain's still a little bit wet on that side of the pre-stain, I'm gonna flip it over upside down on top of the bench cookies, and I'll stain the back. Cause I always like to stain the front and the back, or the top and the bottom. I mean, make sure this don't fall off. The top and the bottom, because it just looks a lot better if you get the bottom stained. I didn't pre-stain the bottom, I'm gonna stain the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my rubber gloves on. First I'm gonna cut up some tissue here, cut up another pieces of cloth for the stain. Put on my big green gloves that's halfway covered in stain, because this stain gets on your hands, you can never get this junk off. It takes forever. So get this stained up. What I'm using is Jacobine from Minwax. Can's kind of nasty because it's really getting low. But it's Jacobine. It's the most popular stain color I probably use on most of my stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and stain this whole thing right here. Like I said, the bottom is not pre-stained. It doesn't really matter if the bottom's pre-stained or not, because nobody really sees it, but I still like to cover the bottom with stain anyway, just for the sake of it. But I get this all stained. I got the little boards laying here beside me that's gonna be the bottom. I've got them pre-stained and they're dry and ready to get stained as well. So I'm gonna stain this thing here. I'll show you what it looks like in a bit. All right, got the top stained now. With the Jacobine. There's the bottom, sides, and the top. So it's gonna dry. Have to dry overnight before I do anything to it. I'm gonna show you the part that I patched up with the putty. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right in here. It's completely now patched up to where you really can't tell. So once it dries, I put the polyurethane on it, it really will cover it up, and you won't be able to tell it was an extra little divot right there where I puttied up the little knot part. But I'm gonna set this aside, let this dry. I'm gonna go to the bottom boards next, and then I'll put a second coat of black paint on the frame. And once all that good and dry, I'll probably put a coat of polyclear over the frame itself just to protect the black paint. Polyclear is a water-based finish. It's a clear finish. And with this, I'll use the oil-based polyurethane from Minwax. So on the bottom shelf and on the top shelf. So all this stain and stuff's got to sit overnight. So after I paint my second coat on the black stain on the black paint on the stand, I'll wrap it up for the evening.